So basically, we are established in 2012. It's already 10 years. It looks like very long, but actually very short for us. Okay, we got a long way to go. And today we have a presence in more than 10 countries. Okay, very proud of you guys also being a part of our community as well. And we also won a lot of awards because of our community today. And we have a very strong professional team behind us. That's why you guys see some of the pictures of those people who are in the community sharing their knowledge and experience with all of us. Today, the speaker is one of them as well. So we hope we can learn from this person. And for those people who haven't become our GIC member, okay, today you guys are joining our event, right? So from Facebook, you guys maybe are not yet our GIC member. So we would like to invite you because today we have a freebies for you guys. Okay, we are going to give our GIC membership worth USD 50, fully sponsored by our strategic partners. So please grab this as soon as possible. Okay, only 10 people. You guys, what you need to do is just scan this QR code and fill in your details, and we'll be able to contact you and also give you all the guides on how to be a part of our community. Okay, complimentary, guys. Go ahead, grab this offer. Okay, so now let's go to the highlight of today's presentation. All right, so we have this great event, create a pitch and stand out. Yeah, she wants to share with us a guide to attract your investors. Okay, so allow me to give a little bit of introduction about her. Ms. Poon Yibin is basically a COO of MCM International Consultancy PLT. Right? She has 11 years of experience in one of the big 4 accounting firm. Wow, she's really from a big place. Right? She's familiar with financial reporting and also experience in providing international audit, risk management, and also process improvement engagement in various industries, not only in Malaysia, of course internationally, all right, in few other countries as well. So without further ado, okay, I don't want to take up so much of the spotlight. I need to invite her to share with us the things that she wants to share with us on how to do pitching. Okay, so let's invite Ms. Poon. Ms. Poon, are you here with us?
Hey, Serene.
All right, so I pass the floor to you, Ms. Poon.
Yep, sure. So good day, everyone. It's good to be here again to share with you this topic, which is called create a pitch and stand out. Create a pitch, I suppose many of us can do it, but the keywords over here is stand out. How can we stand out? Yeah. So in the next couple of minutes, I will be sharing with you this agenda. I will share with you what is a pitch deck, what is the importance of a pitch deck, essentials, elements of a good pitch deck, guidelines in preparing the pitch deck, as well as some pitfalls for you to avoid, right? So first and foremost, what is a pitch deck? A pitch deck is actually a brief presentation that gives your potential investor or clients of an overview of your business plan, your products, your services, and also your growth traction. Why do we need to come up with a pitch deck? Yeah, because a pitch deck aims to generate interest and even excitement with investor about a company that can lead them to another meeting or potential for investment discussion. And many of you may be wondering, what is the difference between a pitch deck and a business plan? Because a business plan is more commonly known to all of the members out there, probably, right? But a pitch deck could be something new. So I'd just like to share with you the difference is that a pitch deck is actually a 15 to 20 slides presentation, whereas a business plan can be a 10-pager or even up to a 100 pages document, right? So will you be able to see the difference over here? Pitch deck is a way for you to communicate your complex business ideas via simple slides, and yet you are able to engage with the audience, right? And then you may ask me, why is it so important of having a pitch deck? Imagine an investor, be it a retail investor or institutional investor, they may be looking at thousands of potential business plans on a daily basis. But how to stand out? If you want someone to commit their cash, you want someone to invest their cash towards your company and idea, they need a pretty good reason, right? They cannot just simply invest in any ABC company, right? So it is actually very important that you tell a virtual story of your business to spark the investor interest. Therefore, a pitch deck with a very well designed is a very high effective tools for getting investor to be on board, right? So this is the importance of a pitch deck. So imagine if you are a restaurant owner, you are a very good chef yourself, right? But you don't really have a very attractive signboard, right? So even if the customer, they walk past your restaurant, they don't see any attractive signboard, they wouldn't know that what content or how good is your dishes, right? So similarly, for a pitch deck, even you have brilliant ideas, but if you don't have a pitch deck that stand out, that attract their attention, immediately you'll be just like the rest of the business plan or pitch deck that will be KIV, right? So it is very important to have a pitch deck and be able to stand out. Okay, let's move on. What is the essential elements of a good pitch deck? I've made some research and study, and I have also some personal experience to cite to many of business plan and also pitch deck out there. And I summarized these 10 key elements that you must put in place for a pitch deck, right? So let's take a look one by one. First and foremost, the first section is none other than introduction. You need to be able to tell people who you are and why you're here, right? So a good introduction, a cover page, it's very important. So on this, I will elaborate further in the next few slides on how to attract people during your cover page, right? Secondly, you have to move on to a problem. You've got to tell people that what problems that outside the market are facing that you are able to help them to solve. Your products or your services are able to help them to tackle, right? So let me just quote you an example. For example, today I'm doing a warehousing services, right? So maybe the introduction is that quality is in our soul. See, immediately if you have a very good tagline, immediately people attract to your pitch deck. What do you mean by quality is in our soul? So I'm interested to know more, right? And then after that, probably in the problem deck, you can say that, okay, because of the current worldwide vessels, like all these shortages in terms of sea freight and also air freight, warehousing is a key where people, after they build, they need to keep their goods at a place before they are able to send it out to the end customer, right? So this is the problem. So you have to tell people what is the problem. Then next, you need to tell people the solution, because identifying problem is not enough, right? You have to tell people how to solve it, right? So in your pitch deck, you will need to present a very clear and concise solution that the investor can easily follow, okay? So you have got to tell them that how is it different of your warehousing services are able to help them to tackle their problem, right? So you have to give them a clear and concise solution, right? Then you got to, in the next section, you have to mention about the market size and also the opportunity out there, so that the investor will see you differently from not just a normal company that is providing warehousing services, but how can you provide a one-stop logistics solution to your end customer? Then only it will spark the interest of the investor to invest their fund into your company, right? So you need to be able to share some statistics, like what are the market size and also opportunity in the measurable numbers. Because if you say that you are the best in class, yeah, you are the key leader in this industry, it's not good enough. You need to be able to share numbers, right? Next, you got to tell them what is your product, right? You have to show off the actual products or your services that your business is selling. So this slide alone is very important. It's a determining factor that whether your investor will actually invest in your company or they decide to invest in others' company. So you should show off your actual products and services when it comes to this slide, right? And the next section is about the traction, because people say that not only pictures speak louder than words, but numbers also speak louder than words. If you have a very good traction, you are able to share with your investor what is your growth, what is your major growth, and what is the next step of your business, then please show off all these statistics on this tractions slide so that your investor will be able to follow you, right? Next, another essential element of a good pitch deck is that you need to introduce your whole team members, because the investor, they are interested to know who are the management team and the key driver behind all this brilliant idea. They would like to study their experience and also their profile. So in this particular pitch deck, you will have to profile and also showcase your key team members. Next on the list is number 8, the competition. You need to define what is the competition and explain why you are different. Because by telling the investor that you are number 1, you are the best, is actually not good enough. You need to be able to share with them a competition analysis, a competitive analysis that, okay, now you have this major competitor in the industry, competitor A, B, and C. What are they doing? What is their products? And then for yourself, what is your products and how is your product different from them? What is your competitive advantage? So this is also a very important slide. Yeah. Next, financial. In any pitch deck, you cannot run away by showing your investor the financial, because that's the most important elements that the investor would like to look into, because every investor look for return on investment. They want to know that their fund that they plan to invest or invested, how much of the return can it bring to them, right? So the financial is very important. Financial over here is not only referring to the future financial, but they want to know where are you now, where were you back then, and then how can you do better in future, so that they can see a timeline that in the past, maybe you are just a 1 million company, but now you are making a good progress, you are at 10 million, and in 5 years time, you plan to achieve 100 million sales revenue. So financial is a very convincing tools for you to attract the investor. Last but not least, in a pitch deck, you will need to tell the investor what you need from them and why, and how do you plan to use your fund. Like for example, just now I quote you, if I'm doing a warehousing company, right? So I'll be sharing with the investor, what do I need from them? How much do I need from them? And how do I plan to use that fund? Probably after I manage to raise like maybe 50 million US dollar or even RM, then what do you plan to do with that amount of money? To buy a vacant land somewhere, right? And to build another 1 or 2 additional warehouse. And in this warehouse, how do you plan to install some automation where you don't have to rely on so much of labor intensive, where back then when you do the kitting, you still have to go through the manual process, but now you want to put in some automation and also robotic system in place, right? So you got to tell them where you plan to use the fund. Okay, so basically these are the 10 key elements that every pitch deck should have, and these are the basic. And of course, how do you stand out, right? Let's take a look at how do we stand out. So I've put together 6 key guidelines to share with you how do you stand out in preparing any pitch deck. First one is tell, right? Tell a story and engage people emotionally. Because why? Everyone's love to hear story, even the investor. So please tell an exciting story about your startup, of your business or your brilliant idea. You got to tell them, right? You got to summarize the complex business idea into a interesting pitch deck and attract them, right? Next, you got to limit each slides to only express one idea. This is a very common mistake where we try to come up with a presentation, we want to include as many information as we want, Sometimes it's not convincing enough, but you are creating a lot of confusion to the investor. So when you have a lot of idea on a single slides, it's very hard for your investor to follow your key message. So please keep your entire audience on the same page by sharing only one idea on one slide. Okay, limit, right? Tell first, then you limit one idea on one slide. Thirdly, you got to prepare, because sometimes after you send out the pitch deck, they may ask you to do a presentation, right? You have to prepare to make a great first impression. Good is not enough. You need to do a great first impression, because first impression are powerful. Okay, believe it, because the first 2 to 3 minutes are most important. So that's the reason why the cover page, before you even have an opportunity to present your pitch deck physically or verbally, the cover page of the pitch deck is the first impression. So prepare to have an awesome front cover to attract your investor. Next on is show the people behind your idea. You have to focus a significant and also a relevant accomplishment for each person in your team that identify that person as a key team member. So you remember just now, one of the 10 key elements is the people behind this brilliant idea. So the investor would like to understand a little bit more about who are behind this brilliant idea. So you have to showcase your management team, the key driver behind this pitch deck. Next one is about keep. What do I mean by keep? You have to keep a consistent look in the presentation. You got to try to use the same font, size, color, and also capitalization formats across all slides of your investment pitch deck. It would be very awkward to have a pitch deck that maybe the first few slides is a lighter tone, and then towards the end of the pitch deck is a very dark tone, or maybe throughout the entire pitch deck, all lengthy words without any virtual or any picture to show. It's very hard or very inconsistent, because the investor will actually judge the way you present your pitch deck to your capability, right? So if you can't even manage or come up with an attractive pitch deck, how would you expect the investor to have a good confidence of your team to drive this brilliant idea behind, right? So even though you may think that, this is very administrative, font size, color, all these have to keep as the same. So it's not very innovative, right? But it does matter when the investor judge a good pitch deck and a bad pitch deck, okay? Lastly, it's know. You need to know your metrics, your traction, your statistic better than anyone else, because the traction, like I said just now, speak louder than words. If you are able to show all the statistics, all the data, all the surveys that you have put in place, then definitely this will add a lot of credits to your pitch deck. So remember these very simple guidelines, just 6 guidelines. Tell first, then limit your slides to only one idea each slide. Prepare yourself, showcase the key management team behind this brilliant idea, keep a consistent look on your presentation, and know what you are presenting, and also know the metrics, and the statistic. Okay, now let's have a quick quiz over here. It's not I wouldn't say it's a quiz, but I just like you all to have a look at these 3 pictures over here. There's no right or wrong answer. This is the front cover of a pitch deck. So picture number 1, 2, and 3, maybe you can enter in the comment that which one you like the most. And then for me personally, I will go for picture number 3. The reason being, picture number 3 is actually a more lively front cover where first and foremost the color, the vibrant are able to attract my attention. I'm not saying that the first and the second one is not good, but the first one, it's in a way a bit dull, even though there's a picture over there, but because of the color scheme, you see, you are trying to attract an investor, right? So if you have a very dark tone, like black color background, so it wouldn't look so attractive. Then secondly, when it comes to this second picture over here, is a red. Somehow or rather, people relate red color to something dangerous, right? So if I am this is just my personal opinion. If I'm the potential investor, if I look at something red in color, the front page, probably I will already have some hesitation and also reservation. Red color, it could be something that is very, last time when during our exam or whatnot, if you are not achieving the passing mark, the teacher will use a red line in your report card, a red pen in your report card, right? So instead of a blue or a black ink. So therefore, for me personally, I would go for picture number 3 as a good front cover to attract the interest of the investor. Maybe this is not sufficient to share with you the idea of a good and a bad pitch deck. So I would like to share with you some case study. I'm sure all of you know this company, Facebook, right? So when they first prepare their pitch, can you see that how they prepare their speech? Over here, the first quote that they use is, the amount of a user shared today is twice the amount they shared a year ago. This is a brilliant tagline. Immediately, I got so attracted. What do you mean? So that means what you are sharing, if I'm sharing 10 posts today, that means 1 year ago, I'm only sharing 5 posts. So it's double up. So immediately give people an impression that there's a 100% growth opportunity, you see. So in their next few pitch deck, they share their traction. Remember just now I told you about the traction. They show all the statistics, right? And what is the user growth per month? They are saying 40% growth per month. And also they share a very important milestone. Where are they back then? Where are they now? And where are they heading towards? And what is their business model? Very simple, but very powerful, right? And how much are they able to raise? They are able to raise $500,000 in the angel funding from their venture capitalists. Okay, this is only the first round, yeah? Okay. And let's take a look at another good example. TikTok. Yeah, so I'm sure many of you are also a fan of TikTok nowadays, right? So when they come up with their pitch deck, so this is how they put in, right? They put in a lot of graphics, very easy to understand. See, brand takeover, infit native video, hashtag challenge, 3D and AR, and what is their traction again, right? So they are saying that there's a average 5 billion of monthly video views, right? So, and people spend 41 minutes on average on video, and they have a very powerful tagline. I'm not sure whether you are aware of it, but the powerful tagline that they have in their pitch deck is make every second count. So for those TikTok user, you should know that a TikTok is a very short video, just a few seconds, but enough for you to share what is your content. So this is the importance or also the powerful of a good content creator, right? And how much did they manage to raise? They managed to raise 150 million in the funding back in year 2014 when TikTok was called Musical.ly, right? It's not called TikTok yet. Okay, so this is some examples of good pitch deck that you can follow, right? Speaking about good pitch deck, there should be somewhat a comparison for you to judge, right? For you to see what is the difference between the good and bad, right? So I'm going to share with you a not so good pitch deck, right? See, on the left over here, where this company, when they perform the pitch deck, under the financial column, they actually put in the entire financial statement, which is the balance sheet. You see, they put in all their financial, and you see over here, even with glasses and also magnifying glass, the numbers are still unreadable to me, at least not to me. So you imagine if I'm the potential investor, you are not able to attract my attention. I have to go and study. So I would definitely have a judgment or a conclusion in my mind that it is so difficult to work with this group of management group, right? They can't even summarize their pros and cons. So definitely it's going to be a no-no. Then let's take a look at the pitch deck on the right over here, where they have this tagline: 3 million rich Chinese people want first-class healthcare. First and foremost, how many population is there in China? Close to 1.4 billion, right? So why in the first place are you only focusing on these 3 million? So you are limiting your market opportunity. And let's take a look at this word over here, rich Chinese people. It somewhat sounds very offensive, right? So if I'm the investor, I'm not rich and I may not be a Chinese. And the first thing I have in mind is that, okay, this is a pitch that I'm going to KIV. So immediately before you are able to share with the potential investor your brilliant idea, it's already a no-no. So these are some of the example of a bad pitch that you should avoid. All right. Let me also summarize some of the pitfalls for you to avoid in preparing a pitch deck. All right. So again, I'm going to share with you 6 key points. You'll notice that I like to use this 6x6 rules. Just now when I share with you the guidelines to prepare a good pitch deck, I share with you 6 guidelines, right? Pitfalls also I share with you 6. What do I mean by 6x6 is I won't use more than 6 bullet points in any deck. So there are 6, and then I won't, for every bullet points, I try to limit it to only 6 words. Don't come unprepared, don't use small font, right? Don't use too many bullet points. 6x6 rules. You can practice this in your next presentation, and probably you will find that it is more efficient and also effective than your lengthy words. Yeah. So the pitfalls of avoiding preparing during a presentation or preparing of a pitch deck is that don't use too many bullet points. Yeah, limits the bullet, because too many bullet points will kill a presentation, because the investor and the audience or the reader of the slides will definitely lose focus. Secondly is don't make it too long. Okay, you see, average entrepreneur's pitch will have about 38 slides. Yeah, through my experience and also through the market survey. Yeah, but the average reader attention or capacity or span, it's only 10 slides. They only have attention, or their attention span is only 10 slides, where you have 38 slides. So do the math lah. After the 10 slides, then what will happen? People will start to daydreaming, lose focus, unable to absorb what you're trying to tell. So try to limit your pitch deck to maximum 10 to 15. More than enough. Remember this golden rule: less is more. Okay, and don't read word by word from your script. If you have an opportunity to present your pitch deck, please don't read the script word by word. Come up with some of your own words. tell some interesting story. Remember, people like to hear about stories. So if you can relate to your personal stories, then that would be awesome. Okay, because if you read word by word, you will really sound like a robot and miss all the important eye contact with the audience because you are busy reading. And especially if you are doing a presentation in a meeting room where you have the slides presented behind the presenter, if you notice, many of them tend to turn behind and then the audience will only be able to see your back, right? So this will definitely limit your eye contact and also your engagement with the audience, right? Next is don't create a text-rich and a picture-poor presentation. If you have all the words, people can't read and listen at the same time. So use good virtual to inspire and also engage with people emotionally. Again, picture speak louder than words and also traction speak louder than words. Try. Remember just now the Facebook and also the TikTok pitch deck, they have a lot of nice virtual, simple sentence, simple bullet points, but powerful enough to present their business case and also to attract the investor. Fifth one is don't come unprepared. You've got to try to anticipate the kind of question that the investor might have and prepare the answer. But if you ask me, if nowadays I only have the opportunity to send my pitch deck via an email or a WhatsApp, I don't even have an opportunity to present physically or verbally, what should I do? So that's the reason why the first few bullet points is so important, that you got to anticipate what is the question that your potential investor will be asking and have that answer in your pitch deck. Then they will be very impressed. Wow, before I even search for it, the answer is already there, right? And number six is don't use very small font. Remember the financial data just now, small font. And investor, for experienced investors, sometimes they are not so young anymore, right? So if you use a very small font, not sufficient for them to conclude and look carefully, then immediately they will lose interest. So just some guideline for me, normally I use font 32 to 44 for the title, right? And then I use font size 28 for text and also bullet items, so that it is able to catch the attention of the reader and also it's not too hard for them to read, right? So these are the few important topics that I would like to share with you, from what is a pitch deck, what is the importance of the pitch deck, and how to prepare a pitch deck, what is the essential elements and some areas or pitfalls for you to avoid in preparing a pitch deck. I hope you learned something new today, and if you have any good ideas that you would like to exchange with me, please write your comments in the Facebook. We can definitely exchange the idea. So with that, thank you very much. Back to you, Surin.
Wow, thank you so much. I learned so much from you, Yimin, today. I also learned at the front part, you did mention something. Numbers also speak more than words. That's a very good thing there you share with us. And you go very detailed today, actually, on the points, on how we should, how many points we should tell, and how we should narrate the whole thing. It's very, very informative sharing. Thank you, Yimin, but don't leave yet. We will have our Q&A session in a while. Thank you so much. I'll get back to you in a while.
Sure.
Right, so allow me to continue our today's presentation with the great presentation from our speaker today, Ms. Poon Yimin. Okay, now we have come to the Q&A section. Okay, so let me stop my sharing here again and welcome Ms. Poon. Ms. Poon, you are here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to ask some questions. So we have collected some of the questions here during your presentation. People are so curious, they want to know more about your sharing just now. So let me go straight to the question. I don't need to waste so much of time, right? So the first question, we have it, okay. Can we get a third party to do the pitching for us if you are not good enough. I think this person maybe not so confident. Maybe not sure how to do. Can we engage a third party to do this?
The answer is definitely yes. You can engage a third party if you think that you are not good enough, because there are a lot of pitch deck consultant out there in the market, and I do believe that the pitch deck is like 50% of your battle. You see, if you are well prepared, but you don't have a good pitch deck to attract the interest of the investor, then that you don't really give you an opportunity to sell further your ideas. So some of the startup business, they might feel that I'm just a startup company, right? I don't have that high capital or fund to spend on all this pitch deck preparation. Probably I'll just do them in-house. But remember that this is your investment, you see. If you don't invest in selling your ideas, how would you able to attract the business investor, right? So, like for example, just now TikTok, you see, a good pitch deck actually won them 150 million fundraising at the end of the day. So please, as a startup company, don't always have this mindset that I don't have enough fund, I don't want to spend, so I just do whatever I can. So if you do whatever you can, maybe there's an opportunity for you to attract the investor interest, but the chances are very low. So I would strongly suggest that for a startup company, if you want to go for fundraising, please hire a professional to help you on that.
Especially when it comes to institutional, they want to look at certain things that are very important. Just as you mentioned, some of the points these are very important points, and some people, they're not so good, but they still want to go and do on their own, and then might end up in failure. But I'm sure there are a lot of third parties outside there should be able to help you guys, right? Okay, so let's go to the next question. Okay, if our numbers are not good and we are desperate for funds, what should we do? Very interesting.
Numbers are not good and desperate for fun. Maybe just follow these 3 key concepts. Share with the investor what you do, right? Again, the keywords over here is keep it short. Aim for a tagline with something very attractive. Let me put you an example. Chris, zoom in to you. A tagline: melt in your mouth, not in your hand. Which company is that?
Chocolate or ice cream.
Chocolate, right? So immediately after I read out this tagline, immediately you can relate to M&N, right? So this is a very successful tagline. So when you don't have, as a startup company, you don't have your numbers yet, right? But you have to create a very powerful tagline that will able to attract the interest of the investor at first glance, right? So you share with the investor what you do, and then what problem you can solve. Just now I also share with you what problem you can solve, right? And again, what problem you can solve, also keep it short and simple. How you exactly, your company or products and services will be able to solve the problem out there, and why are you different is very important. Okay, what you do, have a simple tagline, what problem you can solve, and how are you different from your competitor. Just focus on these 3 key elements when your numbers are not good. Right.
There are still ways, I think, of hope.
Because as a startup company, the investor also understand that as a startup company, your numbers may not look good. If your numbers are already good, there's no reason for you to go for fundraising or even to attract more institutional or retail investor anymore, right? You are able to self-sustain. Right? Okay.
All right. So that's very nicely explained. Thank you. So you can have a little bit of time for the one more question. Okay. Which one is better to focus? Retail investor or institutional?
Oh, this is a very hard question. So in retail or institutional? Maybe let me explain a little bit. Maybe the audience out there may not be able to tell what's the difference between a retail investor and also institutional investor, right? So retail investor are sometimes called as individual investor. or retail traders, they are non-professional. See, they could be people who are retired, but they have some savings that they would like to make some purchase or some investment through investment advisor or brokerage firm. So this kind of individual, we call them retail investor. Whereas for institutional investor is probably an entity that make investment decision on behalf of a fund, like maybe they are on behalf of a mutual fund, a pension fund, or banks or insurance company. All these are called institutional investor. So if you ask me, is it better to focus on retail investor or institutional? It's very hard to tell you a hard and fast answer. But for me, I would think that institutional investor, they have a target to meet. So if you would like to attract institutional investor, your numbers must be quite strong. Otherwise, your ideas or your tagline must be very creative or innovative or can solve some of the key problem out there. Otherwise, it's pretty hard to attract institutional investor to invest in you. But whereas retail investor, because they are a group of people who are taking advice from the investment advisor and whatnot. So it depends on how much fund you would like to raise. If the fund that you would like to raise is not so huge, probably you should target retail investor. But if you are going for a huge expansion and your numbers are very solid, definitely you should go for institutional investor without any doubts. I hope I'm able to answer your question.
Yeah, I believe that answers the question. Basically, the number, the amount is also another big factor there, right? If let's say you need another 50,000, maybe you can look for your mother and father, the farmer.
Yeah.
But the next level is maybe our family and friends. So we always talk about the 3F. And then after that, if you really need big funds, then you need to look for institutional. Yeah, I think that's all for the questions that we would like to ask. Thank you, Ms. Boon. Even though it's very short, I really learned so much. It's worth to watch again your presentation just now. A few times if possible and also take some note and also continue to learn. Thank you so much for your time, Ms. Boon. It's a pleasure to have you with us, and we hope to be able to invite you again to share on other things on your expertise. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my honor to be here. So have a great evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. So let me continue with my slides. Okay, so again, I would like to thank Ms. Yimin again, and for those people who is Facebook, come on, just comment thank you to Ms. Yimin, and then we will be more than happy to invite her again. Make her happy a little bit, give a little bit extra thank you.